so it left us with no other option. If we want to take this car to Ferrari themselves, we've got to finish the build. But in doing so, we did something which caused Ferrari to completely put this rebuild to a halt.
We can't have it on site just because Ferrari is so strict.
On one side stood Mat Armstrong, a popular mechanic and YouTube personality renowned for bringing wrecked supercars back to life in front of his millions of followers. On the other side was Ferrari, the iconic Italian automaker, a brand that exercises meticulous and uncompromising control over every nut, bolt, and line of code in its creations. Caught in the middle of this escalating confrontation was the silent victim, a partially rebuilt Ferrari 296 GTB, a technological marvel capable of producing 819 horsepower, but which remained utterly unable to start. The fight for control and the very definition of ownership was turning ugly as the supply of essential parts was abruptly halted and critical electronic systems remained locked behind an impenetrable digital wall. This was no longer just a restoration project. It had become a high-stakes battle of principles, and to understand its complexity, we must start from the very beginning. The car that refused to start. Inside his workshop in the United Kingdom, Mat Armstrong faced a masterpiece of engineering that was simultaneously perfect and useless. The Ferrari 296 GTB, which first debuted in 2021, represented a new era for the brand, featuring a revolutionary 3.0-liter twin-turbocharged V6 engine paired with a powerful electric motor. Together, this hybrid powertrain could generate a staggering 819 horsepower, allowing the car to accelerate from a standstill to 100 kilometers per hour in a blistering 2.9 seconds, while pushing towards a top speed exceeding 330 kilometers per hour. On paper, it was a triumph of modern automotive technology, but in the reality of Armstrong's garage, it was an inert sculpture of carbon fiber and aluminum. From the very first time he attempted to power it on, the car's digital dashboard displayed a stark and unyielding message: hybrid system failure. The vehicle's history was a clear indicator of the immense challenges that lay ahead, as Armstrong had acquired it from a salvage auction after it had suffered catastrophic damage in a crash. Following the incident, an official Ferrari dealership had assessed the vehicle and declared it a total loss, deeming it beyond economical repair through their official channels. The core of the problem was not a conventional mechanical fault that could be solved with skill, tools, and experience, but was instead deeply embedded within the car's electronic soul, a domain that was fiercely guarded by its manufacturer. A modern Ferrari, and especially the 296 GTB as the brand's first V6 hybrid road car, is far more than just a collection of mechanical parts. It is a sophisticated and encrypted network of computers. Its advanced hybrid system involves a 7.45 kilowatt-hour high-voltage battery pack located in the floor, complex power inverters, and a proprietary software architecture that manages everything from torque delivery and energy regeneration to critical safety protocols. In the event of a severe physical impact, this system is designed to trigger an immediate and strict safety lockdown, disabling the high-voltage components to eliminate the risk of fire or electric shock. Accessing and resetting this lockdown mode is a procedure that is intentionally and severely restricted, available only through Ferrari's exclusive diagnostic tools and requiring direct authorization from the factory in Maranello, Italy. Armstrong's initial rebuilding process was a testament to his ambition and skill, as he and his team spent months laboring over the vehicle. They painstakingly restored the twisted bodywork, repaired the damaged structural components, and reassembled all the mechanical systems with precision. From the outside, the car looked magnificent and factory-fresh, a stunning example of a world-class restoration. Despite this visual perfection, the engine remained silent, And the persistent hybrid failure message served as a constant reminder of an invisible wall he could not breach. The crux of the entire dilemma slowly became painfully clear. The final barrier to bringing the car to life was not mechanical, but digital, a matter of access rather than ability. To resurrect the 296 GTB, Armstrong was entirely dependent on Ferrari's cooperation. The company, however, presented him with a non-negotiable condition: the supply of any further critical parts and the necessary software access would be withheld until the vehicle underwent a formal inspection at a Ferrari-approved body shop. This demand created an impossible paradox. Armstrong's car had already been repaired using non-standard procedures, and more significantly, he had incorporated genuine body panels from a 296 Challenge, the track-only race version of the car. These modifications made it virtually certain that his creation would fail any official inspection, which was designed to verify that a vehicle adheres strictly to its original factory specifications. This situation highlighted a profound and unsettling truth about modern vehicle ownership, where a car with a price tag starting around $322,000, a symbol of ultimate performance and wealth, could be rendered inoperable, not by damage, but by the manufacturer's refusal to grant permission for it to function. The entire saga was publicly documented by Armstrong, allowing millions of viewers to watch in real time as a lone craftsman confronted the unyielding control of a global corporation. An ambitious rebuild meets manufacturer control. To fully grasp Ferrari's rigid stance, it is necessary to travel back to the scene of the accident in Limassol, a coastal city in Cyprus. The 296 GTB, which was practically brand new at the time, had been exported to the island by its British owner. The crash occurred a mere few weeks or months into its life, and its cause was a powerful demonstration of the ferocious power that modern hybrid supercars can unleash. When the driver accelerated aggressively, the instantaneous torque delivered by the electric motor overwhelmed the grip of the rear tires, causing a sudden loss of traction. The driver's attempt to correct the slide was too extreme, leading to a violent and uncontrollable side-to-side oscillation known as a tank slapper. The car ultimately suffered a major impact, resulting in severe structural damage to the chassis, suspension, and other critical systems. The high-voltage hybrid system's safety protocols immediately activated, shutting everything down and effectively turning the advanced supercar into an immobile object. Following this destructive event, the official Ferrari dealership in Cyprus conducted a thorough evaluation and concluded that the repairs would be excessively complex and expensive. The car was officially written off as a total loss and subsequently entered the salvage auction market, which is where Mat Armstrong, fully aware of the risks involved, entered the picture and purchased the wreck with an ambitious vision. He flew to Cyprus with thousands of dollars worth of replacement parts and began the initial stages of the project on site before shipping the vehicle back to his workshop in the UK. What started as a plan to restore the car to its original condition soon evolved into a more radical project to reshape it into something truly unique. The definitive turning point in the project, and the decision that would ultimately place him in direct opposition to Ferrari, was Armstrong's choice to install genuine bodywork and aerodynamic components from a Ferrari 296 Challenge. This was not a minor modification. The 296 Challenge is a purpose-built race car, ineligible for public road use, and designed exclusively for Ferrari's one-make racing series. By fitting these parts, Armstrong created a hybrid vehicle in the truest sense, a machine that carried the vehicle identification number, VIN, of a road-going GTB, but wore the aggressive skin of a thoroughbred race car. This single act of customization disrupted the integrity of Ferrari's highly integrated global management system. This complex system relies on the VIN to track every vehicle, cross-reference parts, and manage diagnostics. and it immediately flagged an anomaly. According to its data, a GTB could not and should not be fitted with challenge components. Initially, Armstrong's orders for other necessary parts were still being fulfilled. However, the deliveries began to slow down, and eventually, they stopped completely as Ferrari's corporate headquarters intervened directly. This led to the official demand for a full inspection, with Ferrari arguing that it needed to ensure the integrity and safety of a vehicle that had been so heavily modified. As Armstrong correctly pointed out, his car could never pass such an inspection because it had been repaired using unconventional methods and, most damningly, was fitted with a racing kit. He was trapped in a perfect catch-22. To get the parts he needed to finish the car, he had to pass an inspection. But to pass the inspection, he would have had to refrain from making the very modifications that defined his project. The car was mechanically complete, a testament to his labor, but it was electronically imprisoned behind a digital wall erected by the very company that had built it. Public drama and online scrutiny. By the beginning of 2026, the project had reached a frustrating stalemate, and the narrative evolved from a niche YouTube series into a subject of intense global debate. The Ferrari 296 GTB sat in Armstrong's workshop, a visually stunning yet non-functional symbol of his predicament. This situation ignited a much broader conversation about ownership and control in the digital age, with the online community quickly polarizing into two distinct and passionate camps. The first camp rallied in support of Mat Armstrong, championing a principle that has become increasingly vital in our technologically driven world: the right to repair. Their argument was both simple and powerful, asserting that when an individual purchases a product, whether it is a smartphone or a supercar costing hundreds of thousands of dollars, they should possess the undeniable right to repair it themselves or to have it repaired by an independent technician of their choice. From their perspective, Ferrari's actions represented an overreach of corporate control and were fundamentally anti-consumer. They argued that Armstrong had legally purchased the car, invested a substantial amount of his own money, and dedicated thousands of hours of skilled labor to its restoration. Ferrari's refusal to supply parts and its decision to withhold software access were viewed as a coercive tactic designed to force all owners into its expensive, closed ecosystem of approved repair centers. Supporters of this view often pointed to the growing right-to-repair legislative movements in several U.S. states and across Europe as evidence that governments were beginning to recognize and address these restrictive practices. For them, Armstrong's struggle was not merely about one car, but symbolized a larger fight for fundamental ownership rights in the 21st century. On the opposite side of the debate, a significant portion of the community argued that Armstrong was the architect of his own misfortune, a sentiment frequently summarized by the popular internet acronym FAFO, which stands for Fuck Around and Find Out. This group's argument was centered on the principles of brand integrity, technical safety, and respect for a manufacturer's established processes. In their view, Ferrari is not just selling a product, but a finely tuned and tightly controlled ecosystem designed to guarantee unparalleled performance, safety, and brand prestige. A technologically complex hybrid vehicle with a high-voltage electrical system, they contended, is not a simple machine that can be safely modified by anyone. They believed that when Armstrong made the conscious decision to install race car components onto a road car, he intentionally stepped outside the established boundaries of what Ferrari deemed acceptable and safe. Therefore, the company was fully justified in withdrawing its support for a vehicle that had been fundamentally altered and no longer conformed to its original engineering standards. They saw Armstrong not as a victim, but as someone who knowingly broke the rules of engagement with a high-end, exclusive brand and was now facing the predictable consequences of his actions. This heated debate raged across platforms like Reddit, and in the comment sections of YouTube videos, with both sides presenting well-reasoned arguments that failed to persuade the other. Adding fuel to the fire was Ferrari's complete and official silence on the matter. The company never released a public statement addressing the situation, creating an information vacuum that was quickly filled with speculation, tribalism, and intense controversy, turning a mechanical issue into a full-blown cultural drama. Ownership, brand, and the future. Beyond the passionate online arguments, the story of Mat Armstrong and his silent Ferrari 296 GTB raises a far more profound philosophical and industrial question. What does it actually mean to own a car today? The answer is increasingly complex and lies at the heart of the conflict between individual freedom and corporate control in the modern era. The very essence of the Ferrari brand is built not just on manufacturing, but on a foundation of exclusivity, precision, and, above all, control. With a limited production output of fewer than 10,000 cars per year and deeply involved personalization programs, Ferrari meticulously curates the entire ownership experience. The sophisticated hybrid technology in the 296 GTB, which demands proprietary diagnostic tools and factory-level authorization for significant repairs, is the latest extension of this long-standing philosophy. This level of control ensures that every vehicle bearing the prancing horse emblem is maintained in a way that preserves its performance, safety, and purity, as defined by Maranello. In this context, Mat Armstrong did more than just repair a car. He fundamentally recreated it according to his own vision, a vision that existed far outside the framework Ferrari permits. His project inadvertently exposed a new reality of modern ownership, where one can hold the physical title to an object, the metal, leather, and rubber. But the core functionality, especially the software that makes it work, remains contingent on the manufacturer's ongoing approval. In this new paradigm, absolute ownership has been subtly replaced by what could be described as a conditional license to use. The implications of this story extend far beyond the exclusive world of supercars and resonate throughout the entire automotive industry. Cars are rapidly transforming into sophisticated software platforms on wheels. From over-the-air updates that can alter a vehicle's performance to subscription-based features that activate or deactivate heating or navigation, the locus of control is steadily shifting away from the vehicle's owner and back to the manufacturer. Armstrong's battle is a microcosm of a larger conflict playing out across various industries, from farmers fighting for the right to repair the software-locked John Deere tractors they own, to consumers challenging the repair monopolies on their personal electronic devices. The right to repair movement has emerged as a powerful counterforce to this trend, but it faces significant hurdles, particularly when dealing with high-value complex products like a Ferrari. The story of the silent 296 GTB in a British workshop has become a landmark case study, vividly illustrating the increasingly blurred lines between ownership and permission. It is more than just one YouTuber's struggle against a corporate giant. It is a preview of the future challenges surrounding ownership, independent innovation, and consumer rights in a world that is progressively governed by lines of code and closed digital ecosystems. Ultimately, it forces us all to confront a critical question. When we purchase a product, what are we truly buying? Is it a piece of property or just the permission to use it?